Good morning, everyone. We're spending this lovely day with another lovely Volvo SUV here at Quantrell Volvo of Lexington. If you are in the market for any new Volvo, make sure to give them a call or head over to their website, which we have provided a link to in the description. This XC60 Momentum is loaded up with options, but as always, we'll be covering the other trim levels as well. Even though this was all new last year, Volvo has made some changes to the standard equipment. So let's go ahead and check it out. Starting up front with the design, obviously since it was all new last year, there are no changes. That means you continue to find Volvo's restrained soft rectangular grille in the front, finished in one of 3 different options. All models are trimmed in chrome, with our Momentum having black bars in the middle, the Inscription having thin chrome bars, and the R design getting a checkered black mesh. Thankfully though, all trims come with Volvo's awesome Thor's Hammer LED headlights. Unlike the XC90, it reaches out and touches the grille, and then you have 4 low beam crystals on the right side and 2 high beam crystals on the left. Down below, all models but the Momentum will have LED fog lights, and also 8.5 inches of ground clearance, which can be further increased by adding the optional air suspension. Here at the side, the XC60 has a sportier look than the 90, since its belt line rises steadily as it heads towards the back. And once you get to the back, it manages to look both sporty and sophisticated by occupying a middle ground between wagon and SUV. The biggest element to separate it from the XC90 are the LED taillights, which make a 90-degree turn and go across the tailgate. Finishing off the clean design are dual chrome exhaust outlets on all models, either round on Momentum or trapezoidal on R design and Inscription. Overall, this is another simple but very impressive Swedish design. The wheels are another important factor in the good looks, especially when you choose one of the optional ones like we have. These are the 20-inch 5-spoke contrast alloys, which replace the basic-looking 18-inch alloys that come standard on T5 Momentums. I really like almost all the other options, ranging from the Inscription, R design, and even the giant optional 21-inchers. Those 21s have summer tires, while all the rest come with all seasons. Moving up to the mirrors, for 2019 they now have standard auto-dimming and blind spot monitoring on the R design and Inscription. And that's in addition to the heating and turn signals, which are already included. But of course, one thing that hasn't changed through Volvo's reinvention is their dedication to safety. Not only is the XC60 a top safety pick, but it also comes standard with the full suite of active safety gear, including automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and a really neat feature called steering support, which can actually steer you around obstacles if it determines the vehicle cannot stop quick enough to avoid a collision. Finally, Pilot Assist, Volvo's semi-autonomous driving system, is also available optionally. Wrapping things up on the outside, T5 and T6 XC60s have 15.9 gallon fuel tanks, while the T8 has a 13.2 gallon one. We'll cover the actual fuel economies a little later in the video. But for now, know that the fuel ranges are 382 miles for the new front-wheel drive T5 model, and 343 miles with the T8. Our all-wheel drive T5 falls in between at 363 miles. Well, that covers everything on the outside, so now let's see the very luxurious cabin. So for smart entry, the Volvo has a lot of different options. Starting off with, the Momentum does not have smart entry. You have to option that on via the premium package. Now on this Momentum, we have the regular plastic key fob, but all the other trims come with the really fancy leather wrapped one that I love. In addition to that, you also have remote start available via the Volvo On Call app, and that's complimentary for 4 years. So to unlock the vehicle, all you have to do is stick your hand behind the door handle, and the mirrors will also fold out. So first, looking into the interior of the XC60, Just like last year, I'm struck by how similar it is to the XC90. Just like on the outside, you do have a variety of different materials available, starting with leatherette on the Momentum, leather on the other two trims, and optional Napa leather as well. There are also a ton of different color options that you can get, which I won't even attempt to name off because I can't remember them all. I do want to point out though that we have linear lime inlays, which are newly available on the Momentum. As far as your door trim, you have the same materials with nice leather all through here, and then it is padded on all the rest. Standard across the board are 2-person memory seats and 4 fully automatic windows. Coming along with the optional leather, we have the premium 10-way power adjusting seat, which includes awesome things like your power lumbar support. The seat itself has that really cool Volvo look, and the leather feels very nice and high quality. So like I said, materials are remarkably close to the XC90, and that's a great thing since that's one of the nicest cabins I've ever been in. All of the upper dash is made from soft touch plastic, though you can get the stitched leather dash by going for the Inscription trim. Down below you have beautiful open pore wood. Like I said, this is newly optional for 2019 on the Momentum. And then there's more use of that wood all through here, and all your lower materials are very nice and solid. Now just like all Volvos, to start the engine you just twist this button. Here's your standard 9-inch Sensus display, and it does have upgraded hardware, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So for your gauges, you'll find these 12.3-inch digital ones on the vast majority of models besides for the most basic Momentum. Now these are really neat because they are fully reconfigurable. You just go over here to the main display and you can click on any of these things like that and open up, for instance, the map in the middle or some other options. You can also get a heads-up display, but we don't have that on this model. Now probably my favorite part of the cabin is this beautiful multi-tone steering wheel made of just soft, supple leather. It's really beautiful and really unique looking from all the rivals. These are your controls for your adaptive cruise control. Then on the other side you've got controls for the main display. This pops up information about your trip and stuff like that. And then the wheel itself is manually adjusting, and we have the optional heating. Now moving on to storage, this car has an amount I'd consider to be about in line with most of the rivals. Starting out with, you have a pretty nicely sized center console with a removable padding and then felt lining along the side. In here is also where you will find your USB ports. The one highlighted in white is where you plug in for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Now underneath of the beautiful open pore wood, you can slide back to reveal your cup holders, another storage area, 12-volt outlet, and then a little area right here about the size of your key fob. Now most versions of the XC60 come with this traditional leather wrap shifter, though if you get the T8 you do get the special electronic crystal one. To go into drive, you just pull all the way back, and then you can shift manually by pushing the shifter to the left, and if you have the R design, you can shift with the paddle shifters. When we go into reverse, the standard backup camera pops up with active trajectory and parking sensors. We do also have the automatic parking function, which will pull you in and out of perpendicular or parallel parking spots. And of course there is a 360-degree camera available, we just don't have it. Coming back behind the shifter, you have this nice metal roller for the drive modes. You just push down on it and you can bring up your menu where you have your dynamic, comfort, eco, and off-road modes. And if you have the air suspension, the off-road mode does raise the vehicle up. And then back one more notch is your electronic parking brake and brake hold feature. Now moving up to the audio, again, there are several options. You start out with a 10-speaker sound system on the Momentum, and then on our model we have the optional 14-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. Now of course you can still get the amazingly powerful 1100 watt 15-speaker Bowers & Wilkins sound system. Let's go ahead and take a sample of our mid-grade sound system. So sound quality of this system is fantastic. Now I experienced the Bowers & Wilkins last year, and I have to say that for the vast majority of people, it wouldn't be worth it. It is one of the best systems on the market, but this one is so good that unless you're really an audiophile, you probably won't notice. But moving on from that, you've got your climate controls, which like all Volvos are located up here in the central display. Now it is 2-zone automatic on this model, and it will be on most of the XC60s, but 4-zone automatic is available. Of course your controls, they're very simple. All you have to do is slide up and down for your temperature, touch the fan, however you want it, and then also highlight the zones that you want the climate to be blowing. Additionally, you will find 3-stage heated seats standard across the board, and we also have an optional 3-stage heated steering wheel. 3-stage ventilated seats are optional only on the Inscription. And now that brings us to your Sensus display, which like I said now has upgraded hardware to make it run a little bit faster this year. So let's go ahead and take a detailed look. A lot of rival automakers claim they have tablet-like interfaces, but this one is one of the only I could truly say that is tablet-like. So if you put your frame of mind in tablet mode, you'll realize you have pages you can swipe from. You also have a notification shade, so it is very similar to a tablet or a phone. So starting out with, you've got a tabbed interface. So you click on these tabs to expand them out. So here we have navigation, and you can leave it in this mode, or you can click this to make it take up the rest of the screen. You also have 3D, and of course you can pinch to zoom and scroll around really smoothly, and it has really nice quality graphics. Opening up our next tab, we have the phone section. Now over here you got your options. You can just open up the keypad if you want to type in a number directly, or more likely you want to go into your contacts, which automatically sync over from your phone into this system. Now scrolling here is extremely smooth, and you can quick toggle by hitting these letters off to the side. We're launching Android Auto here. Of course this is exactly the same as it is in all other vehicles. So you've got your, phone, Google Maps, and your different audio sources available right over here. Now the neat thing about this is that it runs inside of one of these tabs, so you can keep using the rest of the Volvo system, including your climate controls, which pop up there, and you can even go into some of your other tabs like navigation. So technically you could actually be navigating in this and also with your Android Auto as well. Moving up, we do have the optional auto-dimming mirrors with HomeLink remotes via the premium package on Momentum. However, standard is the panoramic moonroof. Now this is a really large piece of glass, very impressive, and it goes all the way past the back seat. Of course the front portion does open by pushing this button back again, and it gives you a lot of space to let air in. and you do have a windscreen as well. So overall, this interior impressed me just like every other new Volvo I've been in. If you still think that Volvo just makes basic boxes, then you really have got to check out these new cars because their interiors are world class. Now we'll go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. The back door trim of the XC60 is just like every other Volvo, really nice. You've got padded leather all where your elbow will rest and above it, and the rest is made out of a really soft-grained, soft-touch plastic. It's even all the way down here very padded. Your window is, of course, fully automatic, and you do have some bottle storage down here. When it comes to space in the XC60, you'll find a class-competitive amount at 38 inches of both leg and headroom. It's actually a touch larger than the XC90 as well. The seats are, of course, very soft, and they're made of this real leather, which is optional on our model, or optional Napa leather on the Inscription. You will notice that on this Momentum, we are missing the vents and 4-zone climate controls, and that's because they are only on the Inscription models. However, we do have 3-stage heated rear seats, which are a standalone option. You do have a 12-volt power outlet down here. The armrest is nice and wide, it's leather wrapped, and you do have a pop-out area here, a little storage compartment. I found this good for a phone. And then in the end, I have some cup holders. The panoramic moonroof is absolutely gigantic, and beside it you do have assist grip and coat hook, as well as some gentle fading in LED lights. I do also want to point out that you do have rear vents on all models, which are in the B pillar instead of in the center console. The ones with 4-zone climate would just have them in both spots. And as far as space is concerned, behind cruise position I have tons of it. I have probably 8 inches and my feet have plenty of room to be comfortable. Sliding over even with the seat all the way back, I am plenty comfortable. I have a few inches of leg room, and once again my feet are happy under the seat. So once again, I think Volvo has killed it with this rear seat. It has plenty of the family stuff that you would want, as well as some luxury amenities. Great rear seat. One of the best in the class. You can fold the seat backs with a handle back here. We'll power fold that. The tailgate on all XC60s are power, or it is optionally hands-free or standard on the R design and Inscription. Once inside, you're going to find a large amount of space, which is a lot larger than the competition. You'll find 22.4 cubic feet with the seats in place, expanding to 63.3 cubic feet with them folded. Once again, that is a lot larger than the Q5 and Porsche Macan. You'll also notice you have lighting back here, as well as our model has these optional power folding second row. You just push a button and it will literally fold. We also have a tonneau cover installed. It's a nice touch. And down below the floor, we don't have any additional storage, but you do find a spare tire. The passenger seat on all models is the same as the driver's at 10-way power adjusting.
We also have two-person memory for the passenger side, which is included in the real leather seating. Front of the passenger, of course, your materials are nice with this beautiful wood trim, padded dashboard. Glove box is also quite large, and it is a very nice felt lining inside. Top of the sun visors do have a mirror and light, of course. It is not does not have an extension on the end, but it is adjustable here. Well, that pretty much wraps up all we have to talk about up here, so let's go ahead and get to the powertrain and do a quick test drive. Alright, so before we get on the drive, let's talk about the engine specs real quick. There are 3 different engine choices that build upon each other for the Volvo XC60, and it's the same as what you'll find in the 90 as well. You start out with this T5 model, which is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it produces 250 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. You then move up to the T6 model, which adds a supercharger to that engine, and it churns out 316 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And then finally you have the Big Daddy T8, which has 400 horsepower and adds an electric motor to the supercharger and turbocharger. And that goes
That is a plug-in electric.
It is. Yes, and it goes 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. So that's crazy fast for a family crossover like this. It is front or all-wheel drive for the T5 model, or all-wheel drive only for the T6 and T8. And it's paired exclusively to an 8-speed automatic transmission across all the models. Fuel economy is on par for the class. It starts at 24 combined with the T5 front-wheel drive model, and then probably a vast majority of XC60s will be the T6 all-wheel drive, and then that model comes in at 22 combined. So it's pretty good fuel economy, about average, and that's about it.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and test her out. So just to reiterate, this is the T5, which is the base motor in this car. You know, it's equivalent to the German rivals with their turbo 4-cylinders.
The Q5, you know,
Right.
2.0T is 252, and this one's 250, so it's right in line with the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and see how it is on the road.
It's surprisingly peppy. I wasn't actually expecting it to feel as quick as it is. I was just gentle throttle application, and it really is responsive. There's definitely, I don't feel any sign of turbo lag or anything like that. It really responds immediately to any application of throttle.
And it is in dynamic mode.
Yes, we're in dynamic mode, so that is part of it. Of course, you can dial it back a little bit. So just cruising along this smooth road, really quiet. I don't hear any like wind noise whatsoever, do you?
It's very hushed.
Now in dynamic mode, it just kind of blipped the throttle, so that's fun.
Yeah, I just know. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's really
In an
that's really
SUV.
neat. Yeah. I can hear the turbo.
Yes, yeah, I heard that too.
That's pretty cool.
That's very
Yeah.
unique.
This is really peppy.
I'm very impressed. This does not feel like You know, a lot of in the class are just
No,
lethargic and...
I was barely touching the throttle. So let's talk about the steering here. It is light, but it's not numb. You know, this is, I imagine, about the ideal type of steering you want in a car like this. You know, it's not a sports car.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel bangs in the road, but that's what you want in this type of vehicle. Okay, so now the auto start stop just shut off. It was very smooth, and once we get started here, we'll see how fast it restarts. But if I wasn't paying attention to that, I really wouldn't have noticed that it turned off, so that's a good start.
That's probably because it idles so smoothly, no matter what.
Okay, we restarted there. Seemed pretty smooth to me. Let's see, other things to cover, I guess, would be the ride. Seems to be really smooth to me.
Yeah, riding along as a passenger, it's very, very comfortable. The road noise, it's hardly anything. It's very hushed inside this cabin as well. It seems to be about the perfect family crossover. You could ride down the interstate in here and be perfectly comfortable. These seats are amazing. Of course, they're Volvo seats. So as far as, you know, ride quality and stuff, this has an ace.
As far as other random things, I do want to say that I absolutely love this steering wheel. It feels really, really nice, in addition to looking really, really nice with the contrast leather, 2 different colors. I love it. Just really feels great in the hand. So overall, I think this car offers a great combination for families. Smooth ride, plenty of power even with the base engine, plenty of space, plenty of luxury, and you can even get a little bit of sporty attitude if you so desire. So it seems like a great overall package.
Well guys, we hope you enjoyed watching this in-depth look at the 2019 Volvo XC60 Momentum. Stay watching for a quick look at the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.